Imagine you are pulling up lobster traps off the coast of Australia. The water is calm and everything seems normal. Then you see it, a shadow beneath your boat, a massive shape moving through the water with terrifying purpose. As it passes, you realize this creature is longer than your entire fishing vessel. Its skin is ghostly white, almost luminous in the deep blue water. And when it surfaces, you see rows of teeth, each one the size of your hand. This is exactly what happened to a group of professional fishermen in 1918 near Port Stephens, Australia. These men were experienced professionals who had spent decades on the ocean. They knew these animals intimately, but what they encountered that day was something else entirely, something that should not exist. The creature they described was between 115 and 300 feet long. A modern blue whale reaches about 100 feet at maximum. What these fishermen saw was potentially 3 times that size. And it was not a whale, it had the unmistakable shape of a shark. More specifically, it looked exactly like Megalodon, a creature that science says went extinct over 3 million years ago. You are watching Science Revealed, and today we are examining one of the most persistent mysteries in marine biology. Could Megalodon still be alive somewhere in our oceans? We will look at the latest scientific research from 2025, analyze historical sightings, explore the biology of this creature, and answer the ultimate question. Is it possible that we have been wrong about Megalodon this entire time? For over a century, scientists believed Megalodon was essentially a giant great white shark. Museums built reconstructions showing it as a massive, bulky predator. But in 2025, everything changed. A team of 28 international scientists, led by paleobiologist Dr. Kenshu Shimada, published groundbreaking research that completely revolutionized our understanding. The team examined rare fossilized vertebrae discovered in Belgium. This vertebral column measured 11 meters, but that only represented the trunk section. The head and tail were missing. By comparing this specimen to 165 other shark species, scientists calculated the true proportions of Megalodon's body. What they discovered shocked everyone. Megalodon was not bulky like a great white. Instead, it had a streamlined, elongated body, similar to modern mako or lemon sharks. This means Megalodon was built for sustained swimming over long distances, a global predator capable of crossing entire ocean basins. This discovery fundamentally changes how we understand Megalodon's behavior and hunting patterns. The streamlined body suggests it was capable of long-distance migrations, following whale populations as they moved between feeding and breeding grounds. Modern great whites travel thousands of miles across open ocean. Megalodon, with its more efficient body shape, could have traveled even farther, potentially circumnavigating entire ocean basins in search of prey. This particular specimen would have been approximately 54 feet long when complete, but that is not the largest. Another fossilized vertebral column from Denmark shows some individuals reached 80 feet. Imagine standing next to a creature longer than a Boeing 737 aircraft. Think about what that truly means. If an 80-foot Megalodon were to swim up alongside a regulation basketball court, it would extend beyond both baselines with room to spare. If it surfaced next to a typical 2-story house, it would tower above the roof. These were not just large sharks, they were moving mountains of muscle, teeth, and predatory instinct. An adult Megalodon could weigh anywhere from 50 to 100 tons, making it heavier than most dinosaurs. To put that in perspective, that is roughly the weight of 20 adult elephants or 15 full-grown rhinoceroses. The research also revealed that Megalodon's jaw was flatter and more compressed than great whites, with extra long pectoral fins to support its massive weight. The snout was shorter and more curved to accommodate enormous jaw muscles, and that bite force was absolutely terrifying. Scientists estimate Megalodon's bite could generate up to 18.5 tons of force. That is over 18,000 kilograms of pressure in one bite. A great white shark has a bite force of about 1.8 tons. Megalodon's bite was 10 times more powerful, with massive serrated teeth up to 7 inches long. Combined with that incredible bite force, Megalodon could pierce through bone effortlessly, whale ribs, turtle shells, even the skulls of other large predators. Nothing could withstand that power. Fossil evidence shows exactly how Megalodon hunted. Bite marks on ancient whale bones reveal a sophisticated strategy. For smaller prey, Megalodon attacked from below, using surprise. The impact alone shattered bones and caused massive trauma. For larger prey like baleen whales, it targeted vital organs, specifically the heart and lungs. Those powerful teeth could punch through the rib cage, causing catastrophic internal damage. Death came within minutes. Scientists have studied thousands of fossilized whale bones with Megalodon bite marks. The patterns are remarkably consistent. Megalodon did not waste energy. It did not engage in prolonged battles. It struck with surgical precision at the most vulnerable points. On smaller whales, we see evidence of complete bites that severed spinal columns. On larger whales, we see concentrated bite marks around the chest cavity, showing Megalodon targeted the heart and lungs with deadly accuracy. Some whale fossils show evidence of multiple bites, suggesting Megalodon sometimes took several attacks to bring down the largest prey. But once those massive jaws clamped down, escape was impossible. Recent research suggests Megalodon was a mesotherm, able to maintain its body temperature higher than surrounding water. This gave Megalodon enormous advantages. It could hunt in a wide range of temperatures, from tropical seas to temperate zones, maintaining high activity levels even in cooler waters. This adaptability meant Megalodon was not confined to one region. Megalodon teeth have been found on every continent except Antarctica. This was a truly global apex predator, sitting at the very top of the food chain with virtually no natural enemies. For nearly 19 million years, Megalodon dominated the oceans. Then, mysteriously, it vanished. Let us return to Port Stephens in 1918. Professional crayfish fishermen refused to return to their fishing grounds. Australian naturalist David Stead investigated personally. What he found was remarkable. Hardened fishermen who had faced storms their entire lives were genuinely terrified, choosing financial ruin over returning to the water. These were not inexperienced men prone to exaggeration. They were professionals who depended on the ocean for their livelihood. Their refusal to return was not a casual decision. It meant financial hardship for themselves and their families, yet they were adamant. Something in those waters had shaken them to their core. When Stead arrived to investigate, he found men who were visibly shaken, some still unable to sleep properly weeks after the encounter. They described watching this massive shape glide past their boats, moving with an almost lazy grace that belied its enormous size. The water displacement alone had caused their vessels to rock violently. Stead interviewed multiple witnesses separately. He examined their equipment and boats for damage. His conclusion? These men had genuinely encountered something extraordinary. The descriptions were consistent. A massive shark, ghostly white, measuring between 115 and 300 feet. The ghostly white coloration is particularly interesting. Completely white sharks are extremely rare. Extreme age can lead to lighter coloration. Genetic conditions like leucism cause partial loss of pigmentation. Could these fishermen have encountered an ancient, massive shark with unusual coloring? The Port Stephens incident fits a larger pattern. Indigenous Australian cultures have oral traditions stretching back tens of thousands of years. The Yolngu people tell stories of Beru, a giant sea creature. These stories describe massive predators, white like bone and longer than many canoes. In Western Australia's Kimberley region, pearl divers reported encounters with massive sharks throughout the 20th century. These reports continue. In 2024, near Port Stephens, an angler encountered a massive great white shark, initially mistaking it for a submarine. Australia seems to be a hotspot for unusually large sharks. Is there something about Australian waters that could support sharks of extraordinary size, perhaps even prehistoric proportions? One popular theory is that Megalodon is hiding in the deepest parts of the ocean, like the Mariana Trench. The ocean is vast and largely unknown. We have mapped more of Mars than our ocean floor. Over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. Could Megalodon be hiding there? The Mariana Trench reaches depths of over 36,000 feet, deeper than Mount Everest is tall. But there are significant biological problems with this theory. Megalodon tooth fossils tell us these sharks preferred warm, shallow coastal waters. Fossil teeth are found in areas that were once continental shelves, near coastlines. This makes sense when you consider what Megalodon ate. A creature weighing from several tens of tons to over 100 tons needs enormous calories. Scientists calculate a 60-ton Megalodon would need approximately 98,000 calories per day. That is enough to sustain a great white shark for over 3 weeks. Megalodon's ideal diet consisted of high-calorie, high-fat creatures like whales, seals, dolphins, and large fish. All live in the upper ocean layers where sunlight supports the food chain. You do not find those things in the deep ocean. The deep sea is a biological desert. Life exists there, but it is sparse and small. The deepest dwelling fish are snailfish at depths below 8,000 meters, only about 20 centimeters long. There simply is not enough food in the deep ocean to support a predator the size of Megalodon. The pressure at Mariana Trench depths is crushing, over 1,000 times atmospheric pressure at sea level. While some creatures adapted to survive there, they are all relatively small with highly specialized adaptations. A massive shark with Megalodon's body structure would face enormous physiological challenges. Its cartilage skeleton was not designed for that pressure. Its organs would be compressed, its metabolism disrupted. To understand just how extreme this environment is, consider what happens to unprotected materials at those depths. Styrofoam cups shrink to the size of thimbles. Aluminum cans are crushed flat as pancakes. The pressure would compress Megalodon's body in ways that would make basic biological functions impossible. Its gills would struggle to extract oxygen from water. Its heart would have difficulty pumping blood through compressed blood vessels. Even the chemical reactions necessary for digestion and metabolism would be disrupted by the extreme pressure. Creatures that live at these depths have evolved over millions of years to handle these conditions. Megalodon evolved for shallow coastal waters. Moving to the deep ocean would be like asking a tiger to suddenly live at the bottom of a mine shaft. The environment is simply incompatible with its biology. The deep ocean is extremely cold, typically between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. While Megalodon was mesothermic, maintaining body heat in near freezing water requires enormous energy. This brings us back to the food problem. There is not enough prey in the deep ocean to support the caloric needs of a warm-blooded mega predator. If Megalodon lived in the deep ocean, we would still find evidence in shallow waters. Sharks continuously shed teeth throughout their lives. A single Megalodon could lose 40,000 teeth over its lifetime. These teeth are virtually indestructible, made of incredibly hard enamel that fossilizes easily. If populations of Megalodons existed, even in deep water, we should find fresh teeth washing up regularly. We do not. The youngest Megalodon teeth ever found are approximately 3.6 million years old, not 3,000 years. 3.6 million years. If Megalodon existed in significant numbers anywhere, we should have detected evidence by now. Large sharks leave traces. They interact with marine life. They would show up on sonar. They would leave bite marks on prey. They would be caught on the thousands of underwater cameras deployed throughout the oceans. If Megalodon still existed, we would not see whales reaching enormous sizes. The presence of a super predator like Megalodon would keep whale sizes in check. The fact that blue whales can grow to over 100 feet and weigh over 200 tons suggests there is no predator capable of regularly hunting adult specimens. But just because we have not found proof does not mean it is completely impossible. The ocean is genuinely vast and mysterious. New species are discovered regularly, some quite large. The giant squid was a myth until we photographed one in 2004. The coelacanth was thought extinct for 66 million years until caught in 1938. The ocean has a proven track record of hiding secrets. So if Megalodon is not hiding in the deep ocean, what happened? Why did the most dominant predator in ocean history disappear? The answer involves a perfect storm of environmental changes that even mighty Megalodon could not survive. The fossil record tells us Megalodon went extinct around 3.6 million years ago, though some researchers suggest it survived slightly longer in isolated environments. Megalodon thrived during the Miocene epoch, a period of warm temperatures and abundant marine life. But towards the end of the Miocene, about 5 million years ago, everything changed. Earth's climate began shifting dramatically. Global temperatures dropped as the planet moved toward an ice age. You might think this temperature drop caused Megalodon's extinction. But scientists Catalina Pimiento and Alberto Ferron found that Megalodon was capable of inhabiting colder latitudes. Its distribution did not correlate directly with temperature trends. Megalodon was mesothermic, able to maintain body temperature above surrounding water. It could handle a wide range of temperatures. So if not the cold, what killed Megalodon? The answer lies in what happened to its food supply. As the climate changed, something catastrophic happened to the ocean's ecosystem. Marine megafauna, the largest species of ocean animals, began dying off at alarming rates. During the Pliocene epoch, extinction rates were incredibly high. 55% of large marine mammals went extinct. 43% of sea turtles disappeared. Even 9% of shark species vanished. In total, 36% of large marine species went extinct during this period. This was an ecological collapse. And for a super predator like Megalodon that specialized in hunting large prey, this was catastrophic. Imagine being at the top of the food chain, perfectly adapted to hunt massive whales and other large marine mammals. Then suddenly, over a relatively short period of geological time, more than half of your prey species disappear. The whales that remain are smaller, faster, and more difficult to catch. Competition for their remaining food becomes fierce. This is exactly what Megalodon faced. There is another factor that made things even worse. Sea levels fluctuated dramatically during the Pliocene. As ice sheets grew and shrank, coastlines changed. Shallow water nursery areas, the places where young megalodons would grow up and learn to hunt, were destroyed or drastically altered. If the breeding grounds were disrupted, it would have been incredibly difficult for megalodon populations to maintain themselves. Sharks have relatively slow reproductive rates compared to other fish. They produce fewer offspring, and those offspring take years to reach maturity. A female megalodon probably gave birth to only a few pups at a time after a gestation period of possibly a year or more. When breeding habitats are destroyed and food becomes scarce, shark populations can collapse quickly. They simply cannot reproduce fast enough to replace losses. Megalodon did not just face environmental challenges. It also faced competition from smaller, more efficient predators. Specifically, the great white shark. Now, I know what you are thinking. How could a great white, which maxes out at about 20 feet long, possibly compete with an 80-foot megalodon? The answer comes down to efficiency and adaptability. As food became scarce, being big became a disadvantage. Megalodon needed massive amounts of food every single day just to maintain its body temperature and basic metabolism. A great white shark needs far less. It can survive on smaller meals. It can go longer between kills. When prey populations crashed, the great whites could survive on smaller prey that Megalodon could not efficiently target. They were more agile, more adaptable, and required less energy to maintain their body temperature. In an ocean with dwindling food resources, the great white's smaller size became a survival advantage. There is also evidence that ancient toothed whales, The ancestors of modern killer whales were competing with Megalodon for the same prey. These smaller, highly intelligent predators hunted in coordinated groups and could take down large prey cooperatively. They were also more adaptable to changing ocean conditions. As the environment shifted, these smaller predators thrived while Megalodon struggled. When the ocean's ecosystem collapsed, efficiency beat raw power. The massive caloric requirements that had made Megalodon the ultimate apex predator became its greatest weakness. So, is Megalodon still alive, hiding somewhere deep beneath the ocean surface? Based on everything we know from modern science, from fossil evidence, from ocean ecology, and from marine biology, the answer is almost certainly no. Megalodon went extinct approximately 3.6 million years ago, and there is no credible scientific evidence to suggest otherwise. The fossil record is clear. The biology does not support deep ocean survival. The ecological conditions that allowed Megalodon to thrive no longer exist. The ocean represents the last true frontier on Earth. It is vast, dangerous, and largely unexplored. In an age where we have mapped distant planets and sent probes to the edge of our solar system, the sea remains genuinely mysterious. Whether or not Megalodon still exists, the ocean contains creatures and phenomena we have not discovered yet. New species are found regularly. Deep sea ecosystems continue to surprise us. Who knows what we will find when we finally explore those deepest trenches? So what do you think? Do you believe Megalodon is truly extinct, or do you think there is a chance, however small, that it might still be lurking somewhere in the unexplored depths? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into Megalodon fascinating, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss our next video, where we will be exploring the Mariana Trench and the terrifying creatures that actually do live in the deepest parts of our ocean. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this investigation, and check out our other video about giant squids and the monsters of the abyss. You can find the link in the description below or in the card showing on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.